Guys, I'm on 5th Avenue, and that's the most famous church in America. That's St. Patrick's Cathedral, one of the most beautiful Catholic churches on the planet. And I'm going to take you inside and give you a very quick tour because I know every square inch. Now I'll try to give you details of things as best I can, but I'm on the run today, so I got a lot going on. Once you get in, guys, please remove your hat. Now we've had 3 popes preach here. That's Pope John Paul II. We had Pope Francis, and okay, dang it. Guys, unfortunately they're doing massive stuff. They've got massive construction going on here because they're actually rebuilding the whole organ upstairs. So unfortunately, they're going to be doing some construction in here, but I'll try my best to show you what I can. First, you're going to notice thousands of pieces of stained glass that adorn the whole church. This is a cathedral. It's huge. You can light candles here. They're $3 a piece, and they go through over 1 million candles a year. So you do the math. Put your money here, push it down, because the homeless guys will come in and snatch it. Anyways, you can see it's pushed to the, they haven't emptied that in a while. This is their gift shop. It's actually an amazing gift shop. It's tiny. See, it's completely tiny, but they do have really nice things in there for cheap. One of the things I recommend if you're coming here is the keychains. And the reason I do, because I've carried, you can see the gift shop is tiny. One of the things I would recommend is the keychain. I got this. This is my St. Jude's keychain. I got this here over 30 years ago. St. Jude there and St. Patrick's on the back. One of the cool things you can get here are little bottles to put holy water in. And you would take the bottle right over here and you could literally turn this and you can see holy water coming out and fill your bottles. How cool is that? So there's 22 individual altars here. Not everybody prays to a certain saint like I do St. Jude. They could do St. Anthony. This would be his altar. You kneel down here, you buy your candle. It's got natural lighting up top, which is really cool. And you can literally go to any one of these. And St. Thomas, and there's a whole plethora of them. It'll say who it is and what they're famous for, where they're from. And that was St. Rose of Lima. And this is St. Rose of Lima, excuse me, here. Again, absolutely everywhere you look, beautiful marble, intricate patterns. I'm going to show you some really cool things in a little bit. Once again, they're doing a major overhaul in here. So we're getting a little shortchanged. I apologize, but I will try to show you what I can. I'm going to keep my, it's usually a 40-minute tour. I'm going to do this in about 10 minutes. These are the giant, what I call the King Kong doors. They're these massive wooden doors. They've got the stained glass on both sides, all the way down. And when it's a sunny day out, the light shines in here. Look at that roof. The roof is absolutely majestic and beautiful. Again, it's a cathedral. And here they have the life-size statues. There's a Saint Bernard, Saint Alphonse. These are giant statues in the walls. Over here, this is actually a small church inside the church where you could pray for your family or someone who passed away. Has enough for about 20, 30 people. If you wanted to have a small get together here, this is your stairway where the popes, the cardinals, the bishops have all preached from. It's all marble, it's all beautiful, and it's adorned by these wonderful statues. There's little statues everywhere you look, even down here. And they're all different, and they're all beautiful. Statues, statues, statues everywhere you look. And even on the beautiful giant candlestick. Now back here, it's very sacred. If you look on the ground here, you'll see it says here, I don't know what that word is, fiat voluntas, but it doesn't matter because down here it says Terence Cardinal Cook. Terence Cardinal Cook was my first friend in life. He's a cardinal that I met as a young boy, and he was my role model and my hero. I'm going to put a picture of me and him together right here. He's actually buried inside this church, and I'll show you his tomb, if you will, up here. Again, 22 different altars. So when you see a line here, that means they're doing confessionals. Got these beautiful wooden 200-year-old confessionals. People are lined up to say their confession. Again, real stained glass. They depict stories. On the other side is the birth of Christ. I'll show you that one. Right here is Mother Teresa, who gave up all her worldly possessions to help the lepers and the most diseased and decrepit people on the planet. She would help them. She dedicated her life. She's a saint and a beautiful inspiration to us all. Here is one of the most beautiful statues I've ever seen. This is the statue of Christ after he died. Well, how do you know that? Because he's sitting here in the arms of Mary, but he's unalive. You could tell that by the nail wounds in his feet and in his hands and the spear mark on his ribs. He is deceased. And this is before they put him in the tomb. And he rose on the third day. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that he who believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Amen. Again, this is really cool. There's a stained glass that's 200 years old. They decided when they did a makeover of the church a couple years ago, they scrubbed every inch of this with a toothbrush. The whole church, except they left a lot of those windows dark so you could see how 200 years of soot and just air and pollution could cause them to wither and turn black. Here's the only place in the church they don't let you film. It's another church inside of a church. I'm going to do it quick. But here's where Cardinal Cook is buried. Right down those steps. My dear friend Cardinal Cook, Terence Cook, came back from Turkey, dedicated his life here in New York to help the poor and the elderly, and died as a hero to this church. And he's interned down below this church in the crypt. Remember I said they cleaned some of the windows and they left some dark. Well, there's the ones that are untouched for 200 years. There they are, a little clean, and here they are, spotless. It's a very nice transition, so you could see how they clean up, but they left the old there. This is Saint Michael. Saint Michael, the archangel. You can always tell because he's holding that spear and he don't play no games. It's very loud in here, so I'm talking loud. Forgive me. This is really cool. Makloof. I'll get his name right. I always get it wrong. But this is all tiny, tiny speckles that made up this beautiful picture of him. And here is a solid gold artifact with precious stones. It's behind this thick glass. But this is something that people come to pray. And his name is Charbel Makloof. Charbel Makloof. This is where the priest breaks bread and gives the body of Christ and the wine, the blood of Christ, right here on the altar. Right here is some of the 150-year-old woodwork. Absolutely stunning. You can see the angels carved in it, all hand done. Brilliant. But you can hear it really going to town right now. That's the small organ. The one at the back is 20 times the size. Very loud, by the way. Now they have a precious artifact by St. Patrick himself. The church is named after St. Patrick. And if you look up high, that is St. Patrick right there. And this is his beautiful crystal ornament, a belonging of his that's on display, also behind glass. Fantastic. Over here, we have more of the life-size statues, but we also have one of the coolest things in here, which is the depiction of the crucifixion of Christ. And it's behind this gate. I'll be able to show you this one here. It tells the whole story of him until they take his life. This says Jesus falls for the second time. They're so detailed and so beautiful, but they're all the way around the church when they strip him, when they nail him to the cross, everything. It's insane. Absolutely beautiful. Hope I'm not in here yelling. This is one of the prettiest pieces in the church. If you are familiar with the Shroud of Turin, this is supposedly the shroud, the cloth that they put over Christ, and it left an imprint of his face on it. Well, this is a mosaic made in the likeness of the Shroud of Turin, and it's a picture of Christ, and it's absolutely stunning. People are praying for their favorite. Again, every one of these has a name. So this one is St. John the Baptist. It'll tell you who his father was, where he's from, what he did, his prayer, how he was linked to Christ, and the whole 9 yards. And you will sit here, pray, you'll light your candle, and pretty cool. Another one, and this is Saint Bernard, not the dog, but Saint Bernard. And the last one, before we exit, is mine, Saint Jude. And this is the statue of Saint Jude. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful. Again, I would like to have given you a more detailed tour, but They're doing major construction here. Here you have the holy water. You could tap and get in it. It was taken away since COVID, but then I wanted to give you some really cool insight. This is Father Cardinal John O'Connor, and I'm actually on video. I didn't realize until I got home, but when I met him one day here, I said, "What's up, playa?"
Everybody, glad you're here. Thanks for showing up.
God bless you, Father.
How are you, buddy?
Thank you, playa.
How was
I just remember saying, "Hey, playa." People's like, "Did you call the Cardinal of the Catholic Church playa?" He's a New Yorker. What do you want from me? Anyways, he's a beautiful man. This is the church. I didn't get a chance to show you what the thing looked like here. Is if you look up right here, you do get a chance. Again, this is all scaffolding, so it does take away from the aesthetic, but this is the money shot where you walk in and you look up and you're like, how do people build something like this? Look at it. Looks like Grand Central. It is just stunning. Now I'm filming this with my Ray-Ban glasses, and I'm sure it's not going to translate as well as in person, but man, it's beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed your tour here at St. Patrick's Cathedral. I ask you to please be kind and loving and good to each other. Start with yourself because you deserve it. And if no one's told you today how special you are, let me be the first. God bless you. Thank you for watching. And we are back on 5th Avenue. The first thing you see is Atlas. Atlas shrugged. All right, guys. Talk to you later.